Hello there, I'm Jen Rice, and I am coming to you live today for the Tuesday Lunchtime Learning in Dermatology for my Derm Insider series that I'm really excited to kick off and to add kind of Tuesday lunchtime to the lineup. If you hear some banging, there's a lot of construction going on in our building today, so I don't know. If you hear some bang, 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 they're doing some progress downstairs. So I wanted to talk today about the dermatoscope and dermoscopy because I carry the tool every day in practice, and I use it during the exams. And many patients ask me, "What is that? What are you using there? Oh, what is that? Is that a magnifier? Is that like a light?" And so I thought it would be helpful. I did a video some time back about this, but I thought it might be helpful to anyone out there that maybe missed that to kind of hit restart on describing the dermatoscope and dermoscopy, what it is, how it can help you when you're getting your skin cancer screenings, and how as a medical provider it can also help you if you're in primary practice, in plastics, in dermatology, to actually have a better sensitivity and specificity with your patients. So I've been really passionate about dermoscopy probably since 2008. I worked with a fantastic physician. Her name is Dr. Nirja Matei in the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area. And she was the first dermatologist to purchase a dermatoscope for me. She literally handed it to me and said, "We're going to learn this. A lot of people are using this, and I want us to have the best options for our patients." So I said, okay. So I began taking courses, and I actually went to 3 different dermatoscope meetings where we actually get together as professionals. So, how does this affect you though, really, is that when you have a provider that's using a dermatoscope, they're basically using it to evaluate pigmented lesions. So we're evaluating them to determine if they're malignant, if they're a pigmented basal cell skin cancer, or if it's just a benign growth that you don't have to worry about, we don't have to worry about, that you don't really need biopsy. So, it's a non-invasive tool that can be used to evaluate the lesions that you have. So, okay, so we have these high quality lenses, so it's like 10 to 14 times magnification with lighting. So this is what it looks like. And we just look through the top here, and then it's lit here at the bottom, and the magnification in there is it's actually a polarized no contact light. That's the one I'm showing you. It's lightweight, it's battery powered, we charge it just like the phone, just like anything else. And there is a fluid immersion one where you actually would use mineral oil or alcohol. You'd apply it on the skin lesion that you want to look at, and then you apply with, with pressure the tool, and you look that way. Now, my tool here, you don't use contact. It's non-contact. So what it's really great for too is, if you're trying to look at a lot of different lesions, you're moving kind of quickly through clinic, it's a very fast, effective way to evaluate the lesions. So let's talk about the efficacy and what does that really mean to you kind of health-wise. Well, we're actually, as clinicians, 35% more accurate than just our clinical eye alone. And it definitely reduces the amount of benign removals, and it certainly can have a more sensitivity and specificity for picking up very early melanomas or even moles that are changing that we haven't quite yet, determined if they're worrisome enough to be excised. So I'm saying, anything that makes me 35% better at something, I mean, heck, if something makes me like 1% better, I guess I'm going to learn it and figure it out. So, if you're a healthcare provider in family medicine, internal medicine, dermatology, plastic surgery. Learning the dermatoscope is an amazing skill to have, and if you wanted more information on that, there's the International Dermoscopy Society, which is found online. They're a great resource, and they put on courses all the time. And if you're, a patient who's kind of thinking, well, I don't know if my provider uses this or not, I mean, you could certainly ask and maybe get their opinion. This is not about like moving someone away from someone they're happy with, but just to educate you that there are tools that people are using. And one of my favorite places to use this tool is actually nails or toenails, because oftentimes it's hard to tell with the naked eye if the dark spot on the fingernail or the toenails is a vascular thing or a pigmented thing. So if we look with the dermatoscope, we can see that it looks either purple or red, which to the naked eye just looks dark in general. So how would you tell if it's pigment or vascular? So I find it really, really helpful there. Another place, I mean, I love it everywhere, but as far as like little things that I've noticed that have been really helpful for my clinical judgment is moles on the hand palms or the bottoms of the feet, because you can see there are ridges, like, in our hands. It's kind of like, I liken it to, when you see a leaf from a tree and you have all the like lines of a leaf. That's kind of what we have on our hands and on the bottoms of our feet. So if you see pigment crossing certain ways, there's like obviously a little bit more to it, but you can be pretty sure of what you're looking at and if it's worrisome or not. So those are kind of my two favorite things for it. And I will say, in the years that I've been using it, which now makes it about 8 years, I have found that it's a very, very valuable tool, and I encourage everyone who's in this field to kind of embrace the technology. There's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but not without some, certainly some practice and kind of learning something new. It can be really, really amazing for patients. And I think what I was going to end with is that, there are a lot of tools out. Technology is expanding all the time, and there's even these things called confocal microscopy, which can go on to a lesion and look in there. And in a lot of places, this is not a tool that you'd use for like a regular full body screening. So there is technology that's advancing. I feel like the dermatoscope is very practical because it's so easy to carry, and it's not a huge expense, and it's certainly, the detection is there. So if you are visiting your healthcare provider and you're getting a skin cancer screening, and you could certainly ask them about the dermatoscope. I think it's just a great empowerment for us to know, and I'm hoping that you found some great value in this content today. If you did, please feel free to ask any questions too below, and share this with someone who might find this information very helpful to them. And I'd love to hear your feedback, so you can certainly message me at any time if you don't want to put anything in the comments area. And I hope you've enjoyed today's Tuesday live learning. I am very passionate about the dermatoscope. I really want to spread the word, not only to colleagues who may not be using it, but to patients for their own empowerment to know that this is a fantastic option, and I think it really does make a difference, and it's something that we should all be 100% moving towards. So if you have any questions, like I said, drop them below. I appreciate you watching, and have a great, great Tuesday.